your interpretation of this agreement between you and the plaintiff is that your responsibility ended when you got money from a new tenant.
I want to say yes, but I'm not sure if I'm saying the same
Yeah, well, be
thing.
careful when you say yes.
That's why I'm saying I'm not
that's gonna be your
100%.
problem. Yeah, because you did take money.
I did.
On October 18th.
Yes.
You took it as a security deposit, you say,
Yes.
which was how much?
Same, 14.
$1,400. But you said, in effect, to the new tenant, you don't have to start paying me rent until the middle of November.
That was by his request.
By his request. So isn't the plaintiff correct that you received money and secured a new tenant on October 18th? And therefore, she's only liable for any rent that may be due until October 18th.
I still disagree.
Okay, good. Do you agree?
Yes, and that was something we talked about. And in the text message, I said, okay, well, give me $1,000 then. And she said, no, I'm not giving you that.
Well, she was penalizing you,
right.
essentially.
She's
by
like, I
taking your
might give
security
you
deposit.
half, but, you know, I have to talk to whoever she worked with. Right. And that caused me to drive down to meet with her.
Right, so that was the heart of the dispute between the two of you. You both interpreted this understanding differently.
Right.
I have a quick question. Ms. Truex, why didn't you call the utilities company and just say, hey, I want to have this cut off?
Because normally it's the landlord or the person that takes over. Somebody has to take over for you to, like, give it up, I guess.
You can't call them and say, I'm moving out and I want the electricity to stop.
I've never done it that way before. I don't know how that works, but I gave her the keys on October 2nd with the assumption that she would put it in her name. But I paid the utilities from September 6th all the way until he moved in on November 14th.
$90?
Yes, I have all the bills in here.
All right. Any more questions, Judge?
I'm good.
We're going to excuse you now while we deliberate in the case. Thank you both very much.
This courtroom is now in recess.
All right, perhaps I'm going to be leading with my chin.
No.
But I think the plaintiff is entitled to the security deposit plus the utilities. It's $1,490, which is what she's suing for, less the interim period between October 6th and October 18th. Under the circumstances, interpreting the agreement as best we can, despite their misunderstandings, that's the way I would come out on it.
So I don't think this turns on their agreement. I think it turns on the landlord's mitigation of damages. Had there not been this kind of confusing back and forth in October, which may be what changes the situation, I think the fact that the landlord found someone in October, but he didn't move in until November, is absolutely reasonable under the circumstances. Right. However, I think it is clear here from the communications and from what happened in November that what the landlord did was essentially deny the plaintiff to access the apartment that she should have had the right to access if she was in fact liable for the rent.
I mean, she gave the key up on October 2nd, so she gave up the apartment on October 2nd.
Now, giving up the apartment isn't enough, in my opinion, because if you go to a landlord when you have a lease and say, here's my key and leave, that doesn't relieve you of responsibility for the rent if you're breaking your lease.
But I still don't understand. How does that translate into a monetary verdict? What do you think?
So I think the way that you explained it, I would agree with. That the month's rent that she already paid for September is gone. And then she's going to be responsible from the beginning of October through October 18th.
So she's responsible for 16 or 17 days.
Exactly. So my calculation would be essentially half of what October rent should have been.
$900.
$900, so about $450. The landlord kept the $1,400 security deposit, and we believe she only should have been responsible for about $450 of that. So we're going to give her back $950 plus $90 for utilities, which I think she's entitled to. So $1,040.
I think I have your position, and I think I have your position.
Yes.
I'm not sure I have my position, but I'll do the best I can.